I'm struggling to determine whether the administrators are taking bribes or just incompetent. I think it's probably less likely they're taking bribes, but given they were appointed by a serial fraudster, what I think he probably did is he probably looked for the worst administrators he can find, because if you want to get away with fraud and you've sold all the company assets out from underneath the shareholders, you certainly don't want competent people doing the investigation. So as the director behind this, what I would do is find the worst administrators I could who are going to do the worst job possible, and then I would appoint them to do the investigation. Now, the reason behind this, as many of you know, before the allegations were made to me, the timeline was my emails, Slack, all my company communications were removed from me. 20 minutes later, my dismissal letter arrives through the emails. So all the evidence taken away. Anyway, point being is, so up and from the point of my removal to now, I have had no access to any of my company communications. So given the administrators have taken over, we thought, right, we've got 2 lawsuits going on. They were removed from me illegally. We want the access to those communications. Now, contacted the administrators and said, we've got lawsuits going on. Can you send these over? The administrators come back and go, sorry, we passed them on to the new buyer, who was the related buyer who was involved in having the company removed from the shareholders in the first place. So we have to go to the new buyer to ask them to give me access to the evidence that will help reinforce our lawsuit positions, which will ultimately prove that they're also fraudsters. And we also have to hope that that new buyer hasn't accidentally lost any data in the transfer between the original company, Videscape, and their company. Now, I went back to the administrators, Trusolv, and said, what sort of weaponized incompetence is this? This is utterly incomprehensible that you know there are lawsuits going on. In fact, at the time of their appointment, there was also a police investigation going on. So they knew there was a police investigation going on, and they know there's at least 2 lawsuits, and they know that the company is attempting to go after me for a fabricated director's loan. Yet the key evidence in my laws, in the emails and Slacks and everything, has been sent on to another company, and the administrators have lost control of it. Now, they came back from that and said, oh no, don't worry, we've got copies of everything. It's like, well, the copies aren't any good. The director behind this fabricated and edited Slack messages, which he then sent on to one of the law firms dealing with this. Copies aren't going to tell you the timestamps of when this stuff is edited. It is absolutely shocking how this whole thing has been completely one-sided. We have Knight Goodhead, the auditors, we have the administrators. Not one of them questioned me at any point whatsoever. They took this one director's word for everything. No confirmations, not even a phone call. And that's why we're in this position. And it's just staggering, like how it goes. Now, the plus side is, of course, we already have substantial evidence anyway, and actually access to that stuff would have only reinforced our position. And of course, having a reinforced position is never a bad thing. But we'll just have to see if we can get the copies, see what's in them, and then see if we can contact the communication companies. And I contacted them yesterday to see if we can actually get access to backups dated from 13th of February 24 previously, to get access to the information we need. But again, the administrators they're beyond incompetent. It is just incomprehensible. So if you ever want to steal a company, use Trusolv, because it seems they will do their absolute utmost to help you get away with it.